Hey guys, Dave with Moniology here. Hope everyone is having a very Merry Christmas. And I wanted to create a video review of uranium here. And in honor of Christmas, in honor of the holiday season, this is going to be available to the general public. And I appreciate all your support, even if you are unable to become a premium member. Your support on Twitter, your likes, your retweets, and your participation in kind of what we're trying to accomplish here is much appreciated. And of course, we would always welcome your support either here on Moniology or through Patreon. So feel free to check us out and give us a shot here. I think our premium subscribers have done incredibly well this year. Many up, 200-300% in some of their holdings. So it's awesome to hear some of your success. And fortunately for ourselves, we've done quite well as well. So let's dive into uranium here. These are weekly charts. For those of you new to our videos, what we try to do is analyze sectors from different perspectives and time frames. And we do this, 1 week we'll do a daily, 1 week we'll do a weekly, monthly, and so on. And we try to find sectors that have really, really nice upside potential, sectors that have been in downtrends that are reversing, asset classes, etc. And then we try to find the best stocks to pick in those sectors. And happens to be that uranium has just been one of those sectors that's been in a downtrend for a very long time. And so we started really following it closely about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And we had initial attempts at breakouts, but we simply never really broke out until about July of this year, when we finally broke this downtrend. But when I saw this chart, this is the URA. When I saw a chart like this, what this showed me was this: it was a question of when, not if, this sector broke out. And obviously, this time frame is since 2015. But if you look back even further, since 2008, it's been in a downtrend. And so the initial breakout actually happened here back in 2016, and then it's been in a downtrend ever since. Then we had the fake breakdown back in March. This was not really tied to the sector, but rather just everything was in liquidation mode, as you guys know. And when this fake breakdown recovered, and basically you broke out in July and then you back tested, this was a great opportunity to enter the trade. And then we since have taken off. Now, the good news is this is still early in the first inning, believe it or not. A lot of these names will have 5, 10x, and some may even have 20x type return potential. And some think I'm crazy. Some will tell me that it's 100x returns. Perhaps on one of these stocks, it's very possible. So it's not too late. So starting with the URA, notice what's happening here. We've got a double top potentially here at 1550, but there's one big key difference, and that is momentum is much higher today than the previous top here. And so therefore, I think we're going to break out like a hot knife through butter here and head all the way to 17, perhaps as early as next week before year end. If there is a pullback, I would use any opportunities on weakness here to add to this trade, because frankly, simply put, this is going to create life-changing returns for a lot of people if positioned accordingly. Let's take a look at Uranium Participation Corp, and this is kind of the best mechanism that I use to chart the price of uranium. It's not a one-to-one correlation, but it's a good indicator of where uranium is headed. So first and foremost, looking back all the way to 2016, it's in a range here between roughly 350 on the downside and about 515 on the upside. Very noisy range. But to me, this range is about to get broken. And I'll tell you why I say that. One is this downtrend broke back in roughly in April here, and then back tested this level, but it did so with positive divergence. So we had a much higher high in momentum here, and then that broke out, right? So we had this breakout here of this downtrend in RSI, and even though price has not yet broken the 520 level here, 515, 520, it's going to do so very soon, and it's because momentum is leading the surge higher, and that's precisely what you want to see. MACDs are very strong on this thrust higher, and volume starting to come in. So Now you're about to get the crossover of the 13 to the 26 moving average. That's critical because it suggests a new uptrend is in place. And when these trends, when you have the combination of a RSI breakout, a moving average crossover, you've got the MACDs, you're going to get a really big move. Now, what's going to be interesting is what happens once we break 510, and I think that's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, and then I think you're going to get a lot of short covering. You're going to get a lot of momentum traders coming into the space, and this sector is going to move dramatically. The question becomes, what's already priced in, right? If a lot of the equities are already pricing in this breakout in price, then perhaps the equities won't move as much. On the other hand, if the equities have not priced in this move, then you're going to see a move, in my opinion, humble opinion, above 35. You're going to see a move into the 40s and potentially higher in the price of uranium into 2021. All right, let's dive into the individual names, starting with ALX. ALX here is consolidating really nicely below the 61.8 level, but very close to an upside breakout here. I think this is going to see 16 cents in the not too distant future. So a 2x move here just on a trading basis alone would not at all surprise me over the coming month or two. Anfield. So Anfield had been doing better than a lot of the space over the last couple of months. It kind of was consolidating with positive divergence here, and then it finally broke out above the 50 RSI level, and then you thought, okay, maybe it was ready to take off. However, of course, a company like this, and many of these companies, look, to have conviction, technical analysis is great as a starting point and perhaps as an ending point. But to have conviction, you really got to do your fundamental analysis as well. And frankly, Anfield just doesn't have good fundamentals right now. They've got a lot of debt, and it's still in a technical downtrend here. So even though it broke the 50 RSI level, which is a great first start, yes, it's going to have a crossover of the 13 over the 26. But until it can break this downtrend, which coincides with the 61.8 Fibonacci level, it's going to have a difficult time. And also, they just announced an offering, which is kind of what you'd expect. So bottom line is, to me, I'd rather own other names until this breaks 16 cents. If this breaks 16 cents, it's a whole different ballgame, and I think you're going to see a major move to the upside. Do I think we're going to see 16 cents here? Yes, I do. And so if you're a bargain hunter and you like these smaller names, this is not a bad way to play it. But there's just, in my opinion, there's more risk than is necessary on this name at this point. All right, Appiah. So Appiah, as you guys know, is one of our favorite names in the rare earth space. It's also has some really nice uranium properties, prospective properties. It's struggling right now to break above the 61.8 level. But it's already above this bullish flag breakout and it's just consolidating. So it's a question of when, in my opinion, not if, but when it's going to break this 58 cent top here. And when it does, this is gonna move really, really fast because it's blue sky territory. There's no technical resistance at that point. So this is a 5-star kind of stock in my portfolio. Azarga. So Azarga, this is a five-year window, but when you look at this from a monthly chart, and we'll post this for premium members at the end of December, but the monthly chart is spectacular in Azarga. So you kind of can extend this and see a rounded bottom. Now this to me looks like a cup and handle breakout that eventually sends shares towards that 56, 57 cent area as the initial move. And then perhaps some consolidation, build a new base, and eventually take off thereafter. But the volume is really good here, and Azarga is certainly a name to watch. Azincorp, speaking of names to watch, so these are the penny names that will go perhaps offer you some of the best return potential, especially if they hit on one of their properties. But bottom line is, above 6 cents, this to me is a really strong speculative play. Below that, it's more of a trade, but I am not interested at this point. But it's carving out a really nice base that I think eventually will has the potential to really shoot much higher. All right, new on this is Bannerman. We've been following Bannerman for a while, but frankly speaking, stock charts did not cover Bannerman here. But finally, it's got It's got the data, and so let's dive in. So the most important thing is this right here. You want to see a stock that's creating new highs in RSI, and you want to own those stocks. And this is one of those names you'll see on this watch list. Above 7 cents here, this is a very, very strong buy because it's blue sky from there. And though I don't have any targets, that's what the fundamentals are for. I think this is going to be going much higher. And I would use the 13-week moving average here, which is upward sloping, as your stop loss if you're concerned about risk management, and you should be here. Baseload energy. This is an incredible move off the lows here, and hopefully you took position at in the 40s as we suggested doing, and now it's taken off. Frankly, it's not too late, but if there's a pullback, I could see shares pull back to 80 cents here. So I don't want to chase at this point if I were you, but keep an eye on this one. If it gets back to 80 cents, then it could be a good entry point. But bottom line is there's some very strong accumulation going on, and this looks to me like a winner. You've got the MACDs at the highest point, and RSI is certainly in super buy territory. So long term, I mean, this can be a multi-bagger here. So if you want to risk chasing here and seeing it fall, then it's a great place to double down on a position because you could miss out on what could be a really nice long-term play. Blue sky. So it broke out of this bullish wedge here, and now it basically tested our double top here, but it's gonna struggle for a time being here. Notice because this is the breakdown point from the previous highs of 23 cents. You extend that line, and not only does it coincide with the 69.1 level, but it coincides with that breakdown level. So once it breaks 23 cents, this is a strong buy with a target of 75. Until then, I would just let for the market to figure it out for you, because what you don't want to have happen is have a multi-month consolidation here, and you're basically dead money. BWXT Technologies, this is more of a tech play on the uranium sector. This is broken out of a symmetrical triangle, and this is a very strong buy. Obviously, a lot more of a conservative buy, but I think this is going to go really far once it breaks the 68 level, in which is a basically, or 70 level, which is a triple top. And I think it's a question of when, not if. And your stop loss is around, right now, I put that around the 59 level. So you've got a great risk reward entry. Cameco. All right. So Cameco, we extended this chart here all the way to 2011. Bottom line is if for more conservative investors that want to have a more conservative approach to uranium, this is a great way to do it. I think Cameco is on the verge of a long-term breakout. First target here is that 23 level. And then eventually, I think this is going much, much higher. This is a must-own for anyone in the uranium space. Canalaska, another name that looks great right now. This is a 5-star looking chart. Above 45 cents, this is going to 155. This is blue sky here, and I think this is going much higher. So definitely want to consider this one. All right, Centrist Energy. So we love this name. We were one of the first to call out its potential here when it broke out back in 2019, and it's really never broken down from this rounded bottom here, and it hit our target at 28. We're going to exit most of our position here, but I think it's going to go much higher, and so I just think that there are more there's better upside opportunities elsewhere, and we'd rather take those gains and diversify. But this has been a great run, and if you're a believer in the space, I think it's going to continue to move higher as well. Deep yellow, so pulled back here. What you're looking for is a break back above this 42 cent level, and above that, this is likely going much, much higher. Very, very bullish price action. You've got MACDs at their 5-year highs. You've got RSI at its 5-year highs. So this is a really strong name, and the fact that it's pulled back has given you an opportunity to pick up some shares at a discount. Denison. So for the longest time I said between basically 35 cents and 65 cents, this is a base that's being built, and I said it would likely hit 65 cents. So this was a good opportunity for a trade. Once it breaks 65 or roughly 70 cents to the upside, it's going to head to 85 cents relatively quickly. And above that point is when it becomes an investment for especially institutions. So I think Denison has a tremendous upside potential here. You've got RSI at very, very bullish levels, and that's where you want to see it for long-term gains. Again, MACDs are not yet at their 5-year highs, but it certainly looks like they're headed that way. And I expect Denison to be one of the leaders in kind of the junior mining space for the next run. Okay, Encore. So Encore pulled back last week about 3.5%, but it basically hit our first target here at 93 cents. When you're looking at a chart like this, you might take some chips off the table here, but on the other hand, I fully expect Encore to be a $5 to $10 stock in the uranium bull market if indeed we're approaching one here. So I'm not selling any of my position, and we've been fortunate to have been buying in this range here, and so we've got 4 or 5 bagger already, and I expect this to continue moving higher as probably our favorite play in the sector. Energy Fuels, speaking of which, has finally broken out, and it took some time, but so this noisy range here has finally been broken. Any pullbacks here, I would be buying above 370. This is a very strong buy with a stop loss at the 370 area, and I've got a great risk reward. So I know most of my our subscribers have been long Energy Fuels, and should continue being long because I think this is going to be a $10+ stock, if not much higher than that in the uranium bull. Fission. So Fission pulled back after this brief pop all the way to 14. Great opportunity to add to this name. It's got a rounded bottom. You've got the neckline here at 10 cents, and this looks to me just like a back test here that eventually breaks out much higher. So our target here is between 26 and 50, and I think you're going to see a lot of price appreciation here. Its big brother, Fission Uranium, has not yet broken out, but I think it's very, very close. You've got the neckline here at 43 cents. As soon as that breaks, the 61.8 level breaks to the upside, you're looking at a move that likely takes shares to about 93 cents. So a lot of upside here, but 93 cents is just the first target. Above that, I think this is going to go much higher. I think Fission represents an interesting value play right now. Because it hasn't gone up as much as many of the names in the sector, and I think it's going to have a really nice next couple weeks. All right, Forces Metals. Forces is also a name that is really looking really good. As I mentioned, above 28 cents, this is going to be a multi-bagger above that level, and while we don't currently own it, it's certainly a name that you ought to consider for your portfolio given this chart. All right, Forum Energy Metals. A lot of folks have been saying I've been quote pumping this stock, and perhaps I have, but the reality is I absolutely love the fundamentals. And please do your own due diligence. Don't ask me to answer you on Twitter. For reasons why I like the stock, just check it out. Do your own due diligence. But when you look at the technicals here, they look to me like Encore Energy. It's got a tight share structure. It's got exposure to copper, uranium, nickel, palladium. These are the areas that you want to be in. They've got the best partners in the world, whether it's BHP or is it BHP? No, Rio Tinto and Orano, co-exploring the properties with them. They don't just go for random companies. They go for what they perceive to be the best of the best opportunities. And if they hit any of these opportunities, then you're looking at a major repricing. This stock is still $25 million market cap. This could be $100 to $200 million market cap on a repricing just overnight if they hit anything. And even if they don't hit super high grades, they just got the chart for whatever reason screams a buy, bottom line. And so it finally broke out. on Friday. So this is rather on Thursday. I think this is just the early stages. I expect this to be anywhere between 50 and 75 cents at some point early next year. Global Atomic. This is talk about a huge breakout above 90 cents. This is what happens when you have a blue sky breakout, guys. Some people think, well, it just broke out. No, it broke out because there's no resistance here. And above 90 cents, this is going to continue moving higher. Sure, it's going to have pullbacks along the way, but this is a must-own stock, and I think this is going to be a $10 plus stock in a bull run, and it's going to be bought out by probably a major company in the next uranium cycle. GoVX. So speaking of names that likely get bought out in the next cycle, GoVX is certainly up there. Very undervalued. I would not be at all surprised to see a move towards 44 cents next week. So this can really pop. This is just a really, really nice setup. It's been coiling, and they're expecting a PFS to come out in the next couple of weeks. If that PFS is what many folks in the know believe it to be, then this may pop even beyond 44 cents. So keep an eye on this one. ISO Energy. This is done incredibly well. It's going to continue doing well, especially when it breaks above 218. It's going to continue making new highs. However, there is some negative divergence here with a lower high in RSI, higher high in price. So pullbacks would not at all be surprising. I would be a strong buyer of this at this point, back at 140 or above 220. Laramide finally starting to break out of its messy base here, but it's got a lot more messy of a base, if you will, all the way to 52. So that's the next target, 52, 53, and I think it's going to hit it soon, and then 75 thereafter. Above 75, this becomes a really strong long-term investment, but until then, you're looking at a really nice trade that likely develops over the next couple of weeks. Lightbridge, so this one's still an enigma, but to me, this is very close to going the way of Centrist LEU. It's got a really nice long-term setup. It looks to me like it's about to break the 50 RSI level, and to me, this is setting up for a really nice move into the teens, I think. It's not a mining company. It's a tech play on the nuclear space, but definitely want to look at this one for your portfolio. Mega Uranium. So this is basically a proxy for NextGen and a couple of Australian names. I think Torex, but the next target here is really 32. Yes, it's going to have some resistance in the mid 20s, but 32 is kind of the target area that I'm looking at right now. NextGen. So NextGen has not broken out like its peers in the U.S. Particularly speaking about energy fuels. But once this breaks 340 and looks like it's very close to testing that, perhaps as early as next week, this is going to be a $10 plus stock. It's got all the fundamentals for all the ingredients for a really nice bull leader in the bull market. Speaking of which, Paladin. So Paladin has broken out above 21.5 cents. This is going to continue making new highs. This is from a technical standpoint, a must own. And it's got some really great fundamental upside as well. If it pulls back, it could pull back to 17 cents if it breaks below 18 cents, but I would use any weakness to accumulate this name. All right, Plateau. So Plateau is breaking out right now. This is a uranium/lithium company that has assets in Peru. And to me, this is going to be making a move towards 75 cents very soon. So this is a great breakout opportunity right now for a company that's been down on its luck, but that can turn around really fast. And momentum is certainly leading the way. This is a really strong buy at this point. PurePoint is another name that once it breaks 10 cents, this is going to make a strong move towards 19 cents and perhaps higher. Very nice upside from a fundamental exploration standpoint, and it's kind of been down in the dumps, but I think that luck is about to change. Sky Harbor is another name that has really strong assets in the Athabasca region. Above 24 cents, it's struggling right now, but above 24 cents, this is going to make a strong move towards that 55 to 70 cent area here. So a lot of upside once this area is broken. Standard uranium is starting to pick up some traction. You've got the bullish crossover here, and to me, this is going to be making a move towards 27. So some really nice upside, potentially all the way towards 38 cents over the next couple of weeks. Texas Mineral Resources. This, if you've been following us since it was in the 20s here, it's done quite well for subscribers. I think it's consolidating for a move into the $5 range. So I would be accumulating this on weakness if I were you. Rare earths and uranium properties, I think this is going to do really, really good things. Now you've got the PPO crossing above zero, so definitely want this in your portfolio. And speaking of names you want in your portfolio, UEX Corp. This is perhaps the best optionality play on uranium. It's got about $95 million in £1 million in uranium assets underground, and some exploratory properties that are still perhaps best in class. So the next stage is 43 cents. Above 43 cents, this is going to be a multi-dollar stock. Back in 2008, this went from 2004 to 2008, this went from 10 cents to about $10. Just goes to show you, yes, they've got about double the amount of shares that they had back then, but they also have double the amount of pounds in the ground. So, this may not go back to $10, but if this went to $5, then I think people will be sitting pretty here. URNM, this one is very noisy right now, between 45 and 98 cents. And I pointed out, once it broke out above 65, this is likely headed towards that buck area. But above a buck, this is going to be a really strong buy, and with a lot of upside. But until then, yes, it's gonna get to 99 cents. But they're just better names that have more explosive upside potential until you get this super breakout. Uranium Energy, similar story. Above 190, this is going to be a kind of super breakout territory, kind of like we've seen with energy fuels. And so this is going to be a leader in the actual phase of the market when the price of uranium gets to a point where production is profitable. Uranium Royalty, this to me is a very strong buy above 133, and it's got upside potential that looks to me like it's just going to double with every $10 rise in uranium. Western Uranium is a name that's starting to really break out above $1. Our target in the short term is around 320, so that's a 3x kind of target, and eventually I can see this moving even higher than that. So that's it, guys. Obviously, hopefully in my voice you see the excitement I have for the sector. Obviously, I'm a big believer in precious metals, silver in particular, platinum as well, commodities as a whole. Looking at crypto starting to really, really take off. Not a huge investor in the space, but certainly from a charting standpoint, though crypto looks fantastic. And so we'll be covering these and other names over the course of the next year, and hopefully we'll see 2, 3, 4, 5x returns in many of these stocks, and we'll certainly be updating you on the stop losses and potential targets, etc. But ultimately, this is about you, and this is about creating better investors, better traders, and helping you understand how to do this on your own. It's not, a lot of folks want stock picks and so on. It's not what I'm about, right? I'm not looking to get 1,000 subscribers and tell you what to do. I want to teach you to do it yourself, and that's ultimately my mission. And I hopefully am getting some success here, because a lot of you send me private messages, private notes, and I really appreciate them about the great success you've been having, and may you continue to have great success in 2021 and well beyond that. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year. And I look forward to many more premium subscribers and this blog taking off in 2021, and with many potential changes, and we'll see where it goes. So this is a journey, and I appreciate you being a part of it. Take care.